What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It with your host Bando, and we are just moments after the Cannoneer fight with IMAVOV, and all I gotta say is damn you, Jason Herzog. Let's just get into this review. Let's go. So I'm gonna talk about this stoppage in a minute, right? I'm definitely gonna get into it. We're gonna get into this stoppage, but I gotta talk about the card a little bit. The card was pretty good. It was actually a pretty good card. Good main card. Punahele Soriano getting the opening win. Then you had let me get this guy's name. I forgot it already. But I'm not gonna end up forgetting this dude's name after seeing what he did to Julian Marquez. Beautiful knockout by Zachary Reese. Shout out to Zachary Reese. My man got a fantastic win. So Punahele gets a really good win, and Zachary Reese shows up with just a beautiful finish, and he was coming in as the underdog in this fight. He threw a beautiful body kick 20 seconds into the fight. Threw a beautiful body kick, followed up with an uppercut, nasty, and sent Julian Marquez to the Shadow Realm. And that's how it goes in this game. So shout out to Zachary Reese, though. Very good win for him. I'm definitely interested in seeing more from him. Then moving on, you got Bruno Ferreira, who got a KO win. That man's got absolute dynamite in his hands. If he lands, it's gonna be a problem. So I actually did do a breakdown. I did a breakdown, I posted it, realized after I posted it that I messed up on the editing for the audio, so I had to take it down. But in that breakdown, I did talk about the 3-leg parlay that I was putting in play, right? First one was Punahele. He was coming in as an underdog. I figured, you know what? Comes in as an underdog, but he still has that pop in his hands. He's still very dangerous on the feet. So I went with that, right? Then I went with Bruno Ferreira. He was a big favorite. I had a feeling that he would get it done. Like I said, if he lands, it's a problem, right? And then the third one was CANNONIER. So you already know where this is going to end up going. But Bruno Ferreira gets the win. So two legs hit. Then you move on to a fantastic performance by Raul Rosas Jr. and a good performance by Ricky Turcios too. I predicted that fight would have been fight of the night on this card, and it would have been nicer if we would have got the whole 3 rounds, but good fight while it lasted. Very high paced. You can see that Ricky Turcios was really trying to bring it to the youngin. He was really trying to show him something, and he did, man. He stayed like high pace with the striking right off rip. As soon as they met in the middle, he was throwing fast shots, looking to strike with him, looking to test the kid. But Raul Rosas Jr. has really good entries on the takedowns, to be honest with you, man. For a 19-year-old kid, he's got really good entries on the takedowns, good setups and everything like that, and he's quick and explosive. And you know, we always talk about the future of the UFC, and this is one of the youngest competitors we've ever had in the UFC. So we're legitimately looking at the future. If this kid can continue on with this and you know, everything plays well for him, that'd be sweet to see him as a young you know, top 5er or something like that. Maybe see him at 21 end up being a top 5er or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be dope to see. But the kid's got talent. If he gets your back, it's a wrap. You can't let that kid backpack you. If he backpacks you and he gets your neck, it's over with. His squeeze, man, he squeezes the life. He squeezes the life out of himself. That's how hard he's squeezing. Like, he really is good on the ground. Really good submissions. Really solid. And like I say, you can't let that kid get your back. Otherwise, it's over with. But it was a good high-paced matchup for what we did get to see. A good win by Raul Rosas Jr. I'm sure he's going to end up getting a bonus. Gotta be nice if you're getting a bonus. 50,000. Even he wants a 100K bonus. I wouldn't doubt that the UFC hit him with the hookup. But even a $50,000 bonus at 19 years old, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. moving on to a win that all of us MMA fans low-key wanted to see. Dominic Reyes back in the win column. Now, let me explain the reason why people are behind Dominic Reyes and want to see him in the win column. We truly thought he was going to be the champion of the light heavyweight division. He went in there and gave John Jones one of the toughest fights John Jones has had since Gustafsson. And personally, and a lot of other people agree, that decision could have went to Dominic Reyes. The more I watch it back, the first time I watched it, right after, I was like, all right, John Jones won that fight. John did a little bit more with the takedowns, this and that, right? Then the more I watch it back, the more I see Dominic Reyes pretty much won that fight. He outlanded, he landed heavier shots, he landed the more damaging shots. The only thing that John did was get takedowns, but he only secured the takedown for a small period of time, and Dominic Reyes was right back up. So, a lot of people have been backing Dominic Reyes because we all thought he was going to be the champion, right? He takes that loss to John Jones. Okay, gets a fight with Jan Blachowicz. You're like, all right, yeah, he's got this one in the bag. He's going to get this one. Dominic Reyes is going to be the champion of this division. And Jan Blachowicz brought it to him, right? You remember the freaking rib? He was kicking the life out of his ribs. His whole ribs were just bruised up right here. It was good fight. Good fight for how long it lasted. It was a good fight, but Jan was looking to leave with the belt that night. And that's exactly what he did. So, Dominic Reyes, 0-2. Then you move on. Fighting a surging prospect in Yuri Petroska. And he gets slept. Yuri, you want to talk about bring it to him. Yuri was up in his grill the whole time. Dom was hitting him with the shots that Dom has put people's lights out with, and he could not even stumble him back. Yuri was right in his face the whole time. So, now you're talking about 3 losses. Then you give him a matchup like Ryan Spann, and you're like, alright, he might be able to get that one. You know, Ryan Spann's always up and down, win here, lost there, win here, lost there. You know, it's not like a guy who's on a 10-fight win streak who's been sleeping everybody. Dominic's got a chance. Dominic goes in there, gets knocked out by a jab. And then you sit there and you're like, damn, man, the downfalls of a fighter can happen so quickly, right? It can happen in seconds. We've seen the downfall with Cody Garbrandt, right? You know, you see him at the top of the division, at the top of the sport, making a name, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're getting slept. So he goes on a losing streak. And you never want to see a guy go on a losing streak. 4-fight losing streak. And you're talking about a guy who was undefeated before that. So he comes back in tonight and puts on a fantastic performance against Dustin Jacoby. Shout out to Dominic Reyes. He landed the signature left hand, right? That he is known for knocking many other people out with. The same one that he countered Weidman with. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. Wobbles Dustin Jacoby and swarmed him. Rightfully so. He swarmed him. I'm so happy that he didn't try to pace himself and do it. No, he swarmed him and got the finish. Dom needed that confidence back to show him that power is still dangerous. Right? Just because you didn't knock out the last guy does not mean you did not. The power is still dangerous. Right? And when you hurt somebody, when you're that big, you hurt somebody, you gotta go for the finish. And Dom did his thing. So shout out to Dominic Reyes. Congratulations. Back in the win column. We'll see what's next in that light heavyweight division for him. I think him and Johnny Walker would be an interesting matchup. Him and Volkan Ozdemir could be an interesting matchup. Even though I know Volkan and Johnny Walker are supposed to face off. You know, we'll see what happens though. We'll see what happens. See what happens between Jamal Hill and Carlos Ulberg. That's coming up at 303. So, you know, just got to follow the division a little bit. So that was the co-main event, and then moving on to the main event. So this just ruined my parlay. I had the parlay hit. Trust me, it was gonna hit. Okay, Jared was winning the fight. He out-pressured him in the first round, landed more shots, throwing more volume, right? First round, definitely went to Jared. Second round, you know, it was a little bit slower, but Jared was getting a lot of work up against the cage. kind of holding position, you know, control time, stuff like that. And IMAVOV wasn't really able to land. When he was throwing combinations, he was not being able to like complete the combination. When Jared was throwing, Jared was landing 2-3 shots at a time. So it was one of those things where, all right, they're trading quick, but Jared kept outstriking him and kept outlanding him. Move on to the third round. Third round kind of similar, but IMAVOV seemed like he started finding his range a little bit, started finding, you know, all the pieces and parts he needed for this one, right? So, landing the good shots, nothing crazy, right? Wasn't hurting Jared or anything like that. Jared was still trying to get the clinch work up against the cage. He was still trying to throw his combinations. I thought Jared was looking pretty good, right? IMAVOV's takedown defense was fantastic tonight. He was doing everything he needed to do to stay on his feet, and he did. You know, it's tough against a strong guy like Jared Cannonier to stay on your feet, and he did, so good for him. But the overall finish of this fight pisses me off, and not just because of my parlay. I mean, that is like really like the top reason. It's like the top reason, but it's not the only reason. It's just the top one, you know, the most important, like number one reason. But either way, I'm not tripping. I'm not even mad about it. I don't get mad about stuff like that. Okay, I'm a little sour about it. Because we were close. So I had the 3-leg parlay. Obviously had Jared Cannonier as the last leg, and he was winning the fight. Not only did I have that, I had Jared Cannonier to finish this fight in the 4th round. The way I was looking at it, I figured that Jared was going to be able to outpace him, right? And I didn't think IMAVOV was going to be able to have a lot of energy going into the 4th round. And I figured, you know what, that's when Jared could strike. I could see Jared, he's been in there against guys like Robert Whitaker. He went 5 with Izzy, right? He's been in there with some tough guys. He went 5 with Sean, so you know he can go 5, right? You know he's all good with that. So I thought he was going to outlast IMAVOV and get the finish in 4, right? So the 4th round comes around. I'm on the edge of my seat. Kinda on the edge of my seat. I was just sitting in the seat. But I'm paying attention closely, and I'm like, all right, man, Jared, you got to do something big here. You got to, you know, I don't want to see just him holding. I want to see going for finish. So they were trading. They did trade some good shots, and IMAVOV tagged him. IMAVOV did catch him. There's no doubt at that. He caught him. He rocked him. Now, after he rocked him, IMAVOV tried to swarm. He swarmed a little bit. Cannonier did well on the defense, right? Got out of there. IMAVOV was able to clinch up again, ended up landing a knee. Jared was able to get out of there. Jared kept basically running away, you know, kind of stumbling away. He was hurt, but he wasn't like out. A guy like Jared, I feel like you can let him, he's got to go out completely on his shield. You got to let a guy like that go to sleep, right? Because I can see him, he is the type of guy that can be down in a fight like that, or not even down in a fight, but down in a round like that, almost getting finished and coming back to get the finish. He is that type of guy. So, you know, I thought it was a terrible stoppage that Jason Herzog just comes in and stops it. Like, one, your whole thing is to defend yourself, right? And defending yourself doesn't always mean standing there and blocking the punch, because if you just stand there and block the punch, they're going to stop the fight anyways. So a lot of times you hear them say move. So Jared was moving. Obviously he was stumbling. He was still getting chased. He was getting hit, but he was good. Most people will say he was good. Most people saw that he was good. If you look on Twitter, look on X, whatever you want to call it, people hated this stoppage. The stoppage was a bad stoppage. Now, usually I don't get at Jason Herzog. He's in my opinion, he's like the #1 ref in the game, right? But I have to demote him now, right? Herb Dean, you're back at #1. Good job, brother. Congratulations, you're back at 1. Because fuck, man, fuck. Terrible stoppage, and Herzog usually doesn't have the early stoppage type of things. Usually that's like a Mark Goddard type of thing, right? Kind of early stoppages. But Jason Herzog usually is on point. So I was really disappointed in this one, because yes, Jared was hurt, but Jared was still throwing, still avoiding, and you know, just overall shit stoppage, and it sucks for Jared Cannonier, because if you watch my past videos on the middleweight division, it's an important fight. Every fight in that division right now is a very important fight, and that man just got robbed of a main event win that he could have ended up pulling out if he got past it. Now, if IMAVOV would have finished him, that's a different story, right? But we'll never know. Now we'll never know. So, but that's it for this episode. I had to come through and talk about this one, and I got to edit and put this one out immediately, so you guys know that my reaction is so pure and still on fire right this second. I am sick. I am sick. You know, you would think that I lost like $30,000 on a bet, and I didn't even place that big of a bet. But the winnings were nice. You know, the winnings would have been nice. But shite happens. That's the bet game. A lot of times, like, I get close on the parlays, right? Always comes down to one. Always comes down to one. But it was a good fight for what it was worth. I had Jared up on the scorecards. He didn't quite get finished, but the fight got stopped. IMAVOV gets the win. Who knows what's next for him? Like I said, the shakeup of the middleweight division. Who knows? Who knows where this is going to go? Who knows if this is going to lead him to another main event? If this is going to keep him on the fight night cards? If this is going to put him to a main card against a top 3 guy? Whatever the case may be, we'll see what happens with IMAVOV. But honestly, we could run that back. If anything, we could run that back. Because you need to know, man. You have to have, like, a true winner, especially when you're trying to set up things for the future of the division. And I think you can run that back, because even if there's nobody for IMAVOV really to fight right at this moment with the way that the game is, with the way that the middleweight division is right now, unless IMAVOV tries to rematch Sean Strickland later this year, but I doubt that. I think you just run this rematch back. You do IMAVOV and Cannonier 2, and let it actually be decided the proper way and not on an early stoppage. But that's it for this episode. Legitimately it for this episode. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out, and I will catch you on the next episode. Peace.